Caroline, were yesterday's strikes a success for the unions?
It was not a success for the unions, Mark. The expectations were quite low since only the second biggest union, the CGT, had called for a strike. And in fact, the results were disappointing as well for the unions. Only about 60,000 people in the streets of Paris, according to the unions. Only 24,000 according to the police. And just to give you some sense of perspective, if you compare it to March of last year, when you had another labor reform from the former government and another strike, you had about 200,000 people in the streets of Paris. So it's a relief, of course, for Emmanuel Macron, the French president, and for the government. The Prime Minister, Edouard Philippe, said on French television this morning that the government was going to stick to the plan and pass the decrees of the labor reform by the end of September.
Macron's approval rating continues to move in the wrong direction. Is this going to be enough to revive his popularity, Caroline?
It might not be because he sparked a lot of controversy over the summer with the resignation of the military chief, with also his communication style considered too arrogant. And even over the last few days, he was criticized for his comments during a speech in Greece, for example, when he compared those opposed to the labor reform to the lazy, the cynics, and the extremes, which of course sparked a backlash back home, especially among the far left wing and the far right wing. So even if the protests were not bigger than expected, it might take a while for Emmanuel Macron to really regain some support from the French. The latest poll we had, this number this morning from Ipsos, showed that his popularity is just at 32%. That's down 10 points from July. It's lower than former President François Hollande at the same period. And it seems like even though he's still very supported by the business community, there is a wide discontent spreading among the French population.
Caroline, very briefly, did his visit to the Caribbean, did that take some of the attention away from the protests yesterday?
It created diversion, and the cameras were all there. So, of course, this was a way for Emmanuel Macron to create a diversion from the strikes, which is also another reason why he was criticized for his absence yesterday in Paris.